Hello and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogwe.
It's great to have you join us again. I'm Thiem Salam. Let's start off the show with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And today in Austria, Vienna, they will play their final test match before the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. And the opponent is the Czech Republic.
And the good news is, indeed, they will definitely start this game. That's according to Coach Garnet Rowe. We can't just wait for him to be fit once again for the Super Eagles. Also on the program, while the Super Eagles are having their final test match right there in Austria, the Super Falcons, they're in Gambia. They will be ready for a very strong test, their first competitive game since they won the African Women's Cup of Nations in Cameroon in 2016. They will be up against the Scorpions of Gambia today.
Interesting. All the best to the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Also on the show, we're going to Roland Garros, the French Open, the second major of the year. Novak Djokovic, 12-time Grand Slam champion, former champion in Paris, is out in the quarterfinals. It was stunned by world number 72, Marco Cecchinato. I mean, that name, a lot of people are not familiar with it because it's an unseeded player.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're familiar. You just got familiar with it after this game. You just got really familiar with it after this game. But the story is Marco Cecchinato has knocked out Novak Djokovic from the French Open in Paris.
When I talked about familiarity, it's about the fact that the first time I heard this name was when he was, being roped into match-fixing scandal and all that. That's the first time I heard the name Marco. But then, after yesterday's game against Novak Djokovic, so the name is now obviously a very popular one among tennis fans.
You can say that again.
We didn't see this coming. We felt it was going to be more like a walk in the park for Novak Djokovic when you have to play a player like this. But then Djokovic tried all his best. The first set fan was cool, 6-3, he lost. But second set, I was able to come back. He got something, tried to get something out of that, but he just couldn't. Then the other set, okay, when he won, I felt, okay, Djokovic is back. But somehow, in the final one, a tie breaks, he just couldn't hold on. The old Djokovic that we know, when you push him into final sets and all that, he's got all it takes, but he didn't have it in this particular case, and so we just didn't see that old Djokovic again.
Old Djokovic. When was the last time we saw old Djokovic? It's been a while. Exactly. So that's not a surprise to me. What was a surprise to me in this game was the fact that Djokovic went two sets to love down. That's a massive, massive hole to be in a Grand Slam competition. And it showed great fight, like I said, in the third set, won a 6-1. And the fourth set, it was looking really good. At a point, it was 5-2 up. And all he needed to do was just, serve out for the match and, clinch, and we're going to a decider. And that's when Cecchinato decided to other ideas and decided to just turn the screw. And that's exactly what he did. He went to a tie break. And Cecilia, for me so far, the most exciting tennis I've seen this year was the one between Djokovic and Cecchinato. That was in a tie break where Cecchinato eventually took it 11-10. And so the Italian is now through to the semifinals where he's going to take on Dominic Thiem. But for Cecchinato, Cecilia, let's give him all the credits props, in the world. This guy never won a Grand Slam match ever. Until Paris.
Yeah, not even white.
Now he's in the semifinals. This is in the last four. That's a major leap.
He's the first Italian since 1978. And if you check, just in 2016 here, when he was inducted for this match fixing until it was overturned and all that, that's when we knew about this guy. But somehow he came into Roland Garros, not just being able to qualify into it, but being able to win matches and being able to beat Novak Djokovic. So knowing him for that in 2016, I'm talking about match-fixing issues, but right now you will always remember him and the unseeded player that defeated Novak Djokovic at French Open in 2018.
What a turnaround for his career. He's gone from being embroiled in that match-fixing situation now to the semifinals of the French Open. All the best to Marco Cecchinato. Remember that name. He's going to take on Dominic Thiem in the semifinals of the French Open. And Dominic Thiem is the guy we're going to talk about next now, because me and Cecilia have been debating a bit who's the prince of clay. Is it Alexander Zverev or Dominic Thiem. I was tilting towards Thiem. Cecilia is a big fan of Zverev. And these two guys faced off in the quarterfinals yesterday.
Yeah.
And there was only one winner.
Yes.
Dominic Thiem, 6-4, 6-2, 6-1. And he's through to the semifinals for the third time in a row in Paris. Cecilia, are you ready to admit now that?
Not yet. I mean,
Dominic
if we have a feat, Dominic admitted himself. He hasn't won any 1,000 Masters title.
He hasn't,
He hasn't won any. Talk less of winning anything on clay. So I'm taking it from that angle. Now, when you have a young player who has won 3 Masters 1,000. How many players have done that?
That's massive. That's huge.
That's huge.
Huge
so that's the angle I'm looking at. And right here in this particular game, he was struggling with a hamstring. He put up a hamstring, and this guy played 3 games in 5 sets. Who does that and still remains sane? I mean, he has played more matches. He spent more hours on court. Than
and you remember we talked about the fact that it was only a matter of time before he ran out of gas. And that's exactly what happened. And coupled with that injury as well, too, he was hurting. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but
he was.
Let's not take credit away from Thiem.
No, we won't.
Thiem took full advantage and recorded that straight set victory over Alexander Zverev. And for me, Cecilia, the reason, the angle I'm looking at the Prince of Clay situation is the fact that on that surface,
on that very day,
it's 5-2 now in favor of Dominic Thiem against Zverev. 5-2, 4-1 on the red dirt. What more do you want?
Okay,
I'm not talking the titles now.
Not totally the Prince of Clay, but very close.
Okay.
Right. Well, let's get reaction from Dominic.
Never easy if your opponent obviously is not on 100%. But he's one of the fittest guys on tour, and even for him it's maybe a little bit too tough to play 3 5-setters in the first rounds of a slam. I expected somehow that he's a little bit tired, but still I'm happy how I finished the game. I let him run. I was doing what I had to do, and so I'm satisfied. I think this year I'm physically and mentally fresher than I've been the last 2 years. I know how to handle a Grand Slam now, how to handle to get that deep in such a tournament, and I think everything gets better with experience. We were playing a quarterfinals of a Grand Slam tournament, so the only thing I wanted to do is to win, and at the end it doesn't matter how your opponent feels or who is standing there. I just wanted to finish the match in a positive way for me, so I was not tough at all to stay 100% focused.